Howdy, hi. This is Do Your Job Sports, College Football Week 4 Picks and Predictions Part 2. Let's get into the video. Alright, so if you have not already seen Part 1, there is a giveaway going on in that video. It is $120, $40 to 3 different people. The only thing you have to do, watch the video, like, subscribe, and then comment anything in the comment section below. Winners will be announced in the Week 5 Picks and Predictions Part 1 video. And the only thing you have to do to win is make sure you have Venmo. So that is it. Let's get on to the picks. Game 1. It is Louisiana and the Raging Cajuns on the road at Eastern Michigan. I'm going to take Louisiana minus 2.5. I don't think many people would have pegged the Cajuns to be a road favorite here, but they are because Eastern Michigan has been atrocious. Louisiana, same coaching staff, new players though. They managed to beat their FCS opponent. Eastern Michigan could not say the same. They've played 2 FBS schools, lost in both, and then they played 1 FCS at home, and they lost outright despite being over a 20-point favorite. This Eastern Michigan team is very bad. Cajuns 1-2 start the season. They beat McNeese State 34-10. They lost to Rice on the road. They lost to Rice at home 14-12 in Week 1. And then most recently, they got dog walks by Missouri 52-10. As expected, they've had the same head coach since 2021. Normally, his guys get picked in the portal because they do run a pretty good program over in Louisiana. So it takes them a few weeks into the regular season to really start gelling and playing coordinated football. Defense is really solid, giving up just 365 yards a game. Offenses is good against weaker competition, that is. Obviously, they only scored 10 against Missouri. They put up 34 against a decent McNeese team. In that the Rice game, Week 1, a little bit of an asterisk there. They turned the ball over a bunch, and then Rice goes triple option now. So their offense really didn't have the ball that many times to actually move it down the field. So I think this is a short number. I think I'd lay this all the way to -7. That's just how bad Eastern Michigan is. Eastern Michigan, they're 0-3 straight up, 0-3 against the spread. They lost by 30-plus to Texas State. They just lost to Kentucky by 26. And now they 2 weeks ago, they lost to Long Island University, the Sharks, at home. Defense, one of the worst in the country, giving up 525 yards a game. Again, they've played Texas State and Long Island, and they're still giving up 525 a game. Almost 300 of that is on the ground. Their defensive line is atrocious. They turn the ball over a ton, and they lose the time of possession battle. I think this Cajun team is going to run all over them. Give me Louisiana minus 2.5. All right, next game, it is Big 12 time, Arizona State on the road at Baylor. I am not going to touch the spread here. I am just interested in the over-under. Give me the over, 60.5. This one keeps on creeping up. I think it opened at 59 or 58.5, and it's already up to 60.5, so I would get on it as soon as possible. Arizona State 2-1 on the year. They beat Northern Arizona University 38-19, Texas State 34-15, and then they lost to Mississippi State 24-20 in a crazy finish to that ball game. They have one of the best QBs in the entire country with Sam Levitt. They have a veteran. I spelled veteran so wrong. Holy, a veteran wide receiver room. Great running back. Obviously, Scadaboo left. Raleek Brown averaging over 8 yards a carry. The dude is an animal. Their O-line still really good. They should be able to win the battle of the trenches here. Baylor's defense is just atrocious. Baylor's 2-1 on the year, losing Week 1, Auburn 38-24. They win on the road Week 2, beating SMU 48-45 in an OT thriller. Then they beat the tar out of Samford 42-7. If you just throw away that Samford game because it makes their defense look a lot better, their defense against real FBS schools giving up 440 yards a game for an average of 42 points. That is not ideal. They allow tons of explosive plays. Their offense, though, is really solid. They average 517 yards a game, top 15 in the country. They just sling it down the field. Their wide receiver room is also very good. I think there's going to be a ton of points. Give me a Arizona State win 42 to, 36, some weird number. Give me the over. 60.5. Next game, we got the Jayhawks at home. I'm going to take them minus 12.5. I'm also going to rock the over 54.5. This one's real simple. We are going to fade West Virginia after beating Pitt in the backyard brawl. There's not really much else to do. They have to now travel to Lawrence to take on the Jayhawks' first game of Big 12 play. This is not going to end well for West Virginia. WVU 2-1 on the year under Rich Rod. They beat Robert Morris week 1, 45-3. You can just kind of toss that game out. They lose week 2 at Ohio, 17-10. Then they just beat Pitt in the overtime game, 31-24. I'm going to assume that the gentlemen on this football team got absolutely hammered, belligerent drunk both Saturday and Sunday. So Monday there probably wasn't much preparation because they were all hungover. And they're actually really starting to prepare for this game on Tuesday. That is not going to be nearly enough time, especially considering the Jayhawks are coming off of a bye week where they get to prepare for their first Big 12 battle for 2 weeks now. And the Jayhawks are pissed off because they just lost the border war to Missouri. This should be an absolute beatdown. West Virginia, in that Ohio game that they lost their starting running back for the rest of the year. He tore his ACL. And they lost their best wide receiver. Couldn't find the exact injury, but I remember seeing him get carted off the field. So that might be a leg injury. Maybe it's something up top. Either way, though, he's not going to play in this game. So you're down your 2 best starters in terms of position players. And it's your first real road test. If you consider Ohio a road test, then yeah, it's their second. But it's your first Big 12 road test. This is not going to end well. Jayhawks 2-1. They beat the tar out of Fresno State in Wagner 31-7, 46-7, directly off of a bye week, so that is good for them preparing for WVU. They lost to Missouri on the road 42-31. Jalen Daniels at quarterback I like. They should beat the tar out of them. There is no reason you should not win this game by 14 plus. Give me the Jayhawks. Give me the over. All right, now this next game, kind of a weird spot for both teams. Delaware and the Blue Hens. This is their first year as an FBS school. They're 2-1 so far. They're coming off of directly beating UConn at home 44-41. Then on the other side of the ball, you have FIU, who just won the Shula Bowl for the first time in their last 8 times playing it. So you have 2 teams who won football games they normally do not win. The difference is one school has to travel, the other school does not. I will take Pitt Bowl minus 5.5. Delaware 2-1 on the season. Really good start to the year considering this is their first year as an FBS school. Week 1 they beat Delaware State. Actually, I think that was week 2 they beat Delaware State 35-17. They lost on the road to Colorado 31-7. And then most recently they beat UConn 44-41. I think an OT thriller. UConn is not having any fun times currently. Their stats are actually pretty goddamn good. Besides their defense, who is very bad, they average 444 yards a game on offense. They have a really solid third down conversion rate. Their defense is the problem, giving up 425 yards a game. It is on the ground and through the air. So they're not the biggest team. Most of their guys stayed from the FCS level, so they are a bit undersized in the trenches on the D-line and the O-line, which might be a problem against an FIU team who looks really good. FIU 2-1 on the year. They beat Bethune-Cookman week 1, 42-9. You can throw that one out. And they won against FAU last week in the Shula Bowl, 38-28. Very impressive win. First time they beat them in the last 8 times meeting. Their one loss to Penn State was on the road, 34-0. They played really well in that football game. They could have easily scored 10 to 13-ish points if they had a kicker or just stopped going for it on 4th down. When you're on the road at Penn State, 4th and 3 from the opponent's 30, like you might as well go for it. You're not winning the game anyway. Just try to get some yards and keep the ball. They gained 290 total yards, though, against a Penn State road defense. That is good. FIU, in terms of their players, they kept basically everyone from their team last year. They just got a year older. Their quarterback, now true junior, 3rd year starting. They have a 5th-year senior starting running back. New head coach, though, Willie Simmons, came over from Duke. He has these dudes playing really well. They look the part. Normally you see FIU and you're like, oh, okay, this is a smaller football team. They're not going to be very good. Wrong. These motherfuckers are large and they are in charge. Give me Pitbull -5.5. All right, final game, and then I have 3 bets, which I almost laid bets on, but just couldn't get there at the end. But we'll go through both of these pretty quick. First one, South Carolina on the road at Missouri. I think Missouri is going to win this by 1 billion based on how the Gamecocks played week 1. They should smash. Missouri -13.5. I'd lay this all the way up to 20.5. I wouldn't lay 21. I think 3 touchdowns is probably about the right number. Also taking the over 46.5. Based on how the Gamecocks have looked, I don't know if they are going to win a game in SEC play. They look horrible. South Carolina 2-1 on the year. They beat Virginia Tech 24-11. Every single game Virginia Tech plays, that 24-11 win looks worse and worse and worse for the Gamecocks because Virginia Tech is horrid. Then they beat South Carolina State by 28. Another horrible win. You should be blowing both of those teams out. Their first SEC game at home against Vandy, they lost 31-7 despite outgaining Vanderbilt in total yards. I don't even know how you do that. They have questions at quarterback, their true sophomore starter. Actually, I don't think he's a true sophomore. I think he's a redshirt. He left the game with a head injury, so they brought in their backup QB, who used to be their starting quarterback, who is a fourth-year senior. Yeah, I don't know which one's going to play. I don't really think it matters which one's played, to be honest with you. This team sucks. Missouri 3-0 on the year. They beat Central Arkansas 61-6, Kansas 42-31, and then the Raging Cajuns 52-10. Their defense looks like one of the best in the country. Normally is pretty good up until they get to the end of the year and they're just beat down playing SEC opponents, giving up just 192 yards per game. Their offense averaging 587 yards a game. That is a tad bit inflated considering they did play Arkansas State Central Arkansas winning 61-6 and Louisiana 52-10. So take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, but they did put up 42 against a relatively solid Kansas defense. They should beat the tar out of South Carolina. Give me Missouri and the over. All right, and then we have 3 games which I almost took, but I just couldn't get there. First one's Nevada on the road at Western Kentucky. The only reason I couldn't get here is I'm not sure how much Nevada is going to be able to score against the Hilltoppers. I am very confident that Western Kentucky can put up a minimum of 30 here. I'm just not sure if Nevada's offense is going to travel. So I was tempted to take the over, but I couldn't get there. Next one was Bill Belichick, and the Tar Heels. I almost took them plus 6.5 at UCF. If I would be able to get, if this line jumps and I can get 7.5 and I get a touchdown, I think I'd take it then if it crosses that number. But if it stays at 6.5, I don't think I can get there. Again, this touchdown game is probably about fair between both of these programs. And then finally, Florida State. Is there a number big enough? I mean, it's Kent State. Is 44.5 enough? We've seen what Florida State has done to bad teams this year. The question is, with legitimate football games on the horizon, do they call off the dogs and only win this game by 41 or 34? Or what is the number in which they put up all of their backups and their walk-ons onto the field, and then they go and let Kent State in like a 10-0 run to end the game? So I almost got there with 44.5. But with ACC games coming up, do you risk it and beat them by 65 and expose some extra stuff? Or do you just play it cool, win by 35, and then go on to next week? So I couldn't lay the 44.5, but I think it is very tempting because Kent State is horrible. All right, that is the picks for this video. I will mention again, if you have not already checked out the episode 1 for the week 4 predictions giveaway going on in that video, all you got to do to enter, like, subscribe, comment, and then you're in. All right, I appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.